Mick, I do want to talk about some of the build-up to this game. And I know you did a lot of media stuff yesterday, where I think it was hammered into you over and over again. But in terms of the situation where we had a player in Harry Arter, and as we talked about the player resources we don't have that many. I think we've only now one Premier League midfielder in the Irish squad now that he's gone. I mean, whatever you say about Roy Keane and man management, should we not be keeping players like that in the squad?
Well, can I say something?
Is that not what man management is about?
Can I just say something to you? Martin O'Neill's the manager. I've never had anybody talk about my assistant in terms of man management. It's been me, not Ian Evans, not Terry Connor. It's been Mick McCarthy. And that's Martin O'Neill's job. That's his job to do that for me. And if, you know, if there's fallouts within the camp, and there has been everywhere I've ever been, not necessarily with me, but with players falling out, you've got to go and make sure that's OK, and you want a good spirit within the squad. And you know what? Just because people have had fallouts, it doesn't mean to say it's got a bad spirit in the squad. And, you know, I talked long and hard yesterday about Harry Arter and Declan Rice. But, you know, if they want to play for Ireland, they've got to turn up and play from whatever happens, I guess. And there's been fallouts in the past. And there'll be fallouts in the future.
But we know that Arter is not there, and the main reason is because of an altercation with Keane. We also know that he had one with Walters, but Walters is a different character. So is it not part of, and I taking exception that Martin is the manager,
absolutely,
but is it not part of management, and I get your perspective on this from your own experience as a manager, to, you know, that old cliche of some players need an arm around them, and some players are happy to get firmer treatment?
Absolutely, and I said yesterday, managing players is not easy. And managing a group of players, even more so when you only see them for a week, every month, if you're lucky, or you haven't seen them for 3 or 4 months and then they come back, that is not easy. And that's a skill. That's a skill to manage those players. And I have to say, if anything I would say about Martin O'Neill is that over the course of his career, he's had teams. He had Aston Villa in the top 6 for 3 years. And then they sacked him. And their team spirit and the way they played was always excellent. Matt and Niles just said about the resilience they've had. I think that's been in Irish teams. It's been instilled in Irish teams for a long time. But they certainly had it. Yeah. Resilience was in abundance. Whether they could score goals and win games was another matter.
Yeah, I think, you know, looking at the whole thing as Martin O'Neill would love 11 Jonathan Walters who just snapped back at Roy Keane for whatever he said, get on with it and give a great performance at the weekend. And you know what, over a period of time, and I know you don't get much time in football anymore, you'll end up better off with 11 Jonathan Walters than lads begging them to play for your country because somebody shouted at them.
So you think there's something in that we need to say, look, this is the way the squad is, if Arter isn't the character for it?
I'd go further.
Or is Roy a liability?
No, I'd go further.
Losing players,
now, this might revert back to something else, but I'd go further. Their contract, and it's not really a contract, you don't sign a contract with the FAI, is that jersey. And that jersey should determine everything that happens. And if there's a problem in there, it's got to be put right because you have to put it right for the jersey. And if people aren't buying into that, I think Martin and Roy are better off without them.
For you know, that happens at every club, with every country as well.
Yeah.
There are people that fall out with managers and coaches and they want to leave. It should be different with the country, I guess.
You would think so.
You'd think it'd be different, but it's not. And you know, if they get that upset that they can't play, I actually wouldn't want them. And if they don't want to play for me, I don't want them.
Exactly.
So,
my
crack on, I'll do it without you. That's my view on it.
So in terms of, I mean, Martin has come out and said, listen, what Roy has brought to the squad, and, you know, in terms of qualifying for Euros and the atmosphere around it, he's backed him all the way. We've lost a Premier League midfielder out of this, but them's the breaks. Is that what we're saying?
Well, sorry, because I said yesterday, I think you should try and get the best team possible. I mean, you've all seen what I've said, because it's been splattered all over the papers. I only came to announce that I was doing this, and suddenly I walked into an absolute storm. So anyway, and I've answered the questions, but I still think you should try and get the best players, and if there is an olive branch to be offered out, because ultimately you want to qualify, and if that's the best team, you want them to play. And it's so passionate, and we have such strong feelings about it, but I still think you want to get the best team out.
Yeah, I think if some work has to go on to try and get the thing right, and if there is a bit of a fallout, you know, hey, let's try and solve this and get it going on the pitch, let's play for the jersey together. But when a player, you know, takes the decision not to turn up because somebody has had a pop at him, I would question what he was bringing to the team in the first place.
Has he said that?
What Martin has said...
No, has Harry Arter come out and specifically said, I am not coming because of a fallout?
Harry Arter hasn't...
right, for me, until he does...
Yeah, Martin gave the cat, let the cat out of the bag as well by saying it may very well have to do with that. So I took it from that point that Harry has stayed away because of it.
And Martin also mentioned that he had changed clubs and he was wanting to settle his Premier League career as well, but that the altercation, as you said, may well have had something to do.
Let me tell you, Harry Hart had a bit of a tough time as well last season, with his family thing. So, I haven't heard him say that, and unless he says it to me, I don't want to play for me. And I'd go and ask him. If he said no, then crack on. I'll do it without him.
Yeah. OK, fair enough.